Hello, loves. So I figured like late afternoon might be good when my healing day is over and we could do like a short Q&A if people have questions. I do have to teach tonight, so I won't be able to go as long as I did last night, but if people have questions, definitely we can speak a little bit. And I am more definitely myself this time of day than I am early. So more on the game anyway. So Wednesday is the day ruled by Mercury. Mercury is our perception, how you perceive things. And so, like I said, if you look on your natal chart, it really is one of the greatest life hacks to understand your own birth chart, where your own placements are, how you actually process emotion, how you perceive things, like Wednesday being the planet of perception, Mars, how you handle conflict and polarity, Venus, how you love and also handle finances. All of those things are very key in your human experience. And we hand select our birth date and time. So if you know your birth date, your time, and exact location, you are given a blueprint for your entire human experience. And that is one of the greatest life hacks. So Wednesday is ruled by Mercury, how you perceive things. So be very aware of your mind. Because remember, when we are birthed with three parts: a physical self, the earth suit, the intellect, and the soul. But your true self is the soul that's within the skin. It's not the suit, and it definitely is not the mind. And the mind is meant to be more of a colander, like completely clear, so that when the soul is in charge, it is the filtering through of divine wisdom and knowledge, and then it comes out sounding like Sherry, right? And that's because of the earth suit and the intellect. But you are really already endowed with the wisdom that you need for your path and purpose in this life at the time of birth. And I know that's really hard for people to wrap their head around, but that is just a fact. So the spread for today, the sacred geometry, is Mayan dream. And so Mayan dream showed up in the upright. And if you look at the beautiful spiral of the card, the meaning of Mayan dream is to set intention, because in the dream state, we do tend to visit astral realms, also receive downloads. This is when our spirit guides, our angels, and higher wisdom is given to us, is gifted to us, so that by way of downloads, energetic downloads, DNA upgrades. And so in the Mayan dream, what this card is actually asking you to do is, before you even go to sleep, to set the intention of what you are needing to be clear on before you even sleep. And when you do that, you will be given the gift of that information in your sleep. So if you're like willy-nilly or on the fence about something and you feel really confused, first of all, I always say, and this is good because today is Wednesday, ruled by Mercury, that if you are ever confused, you are not being your authentic self. That it is the intellect that is clouded by the ego that is actually preventing the wisdom for you to know that answer. And so confusion comes from portraying someone else's version of yourself, not actually being your most authentic self. So the Mayan dream is actually asking you to set the intention before you sleep to become clear on that which you need to be clear on. And so the next card that showed up was chopping wood. And this is such a beautiful deck. This is a new deck that I'm working with, Wisdom of the Oracle. It's Colette Baron Reed, and it's such a beautiful deck, and the artwork is just dreamy. But this card talks about, can you bring the divine into the mundane? That there are tasks that have to be completed in the human experience, but can you stay present and in your highest self, your divine self, in every task? And I love that, because when I teach very basic level meditation, that's what I talk about. It's a living meditation. I don't ever teach people in a way where I say, sit, be still, quiet the mind, and this is how you meditate, because people would never do that. The reason why people have a hard time meditating to begin with is because their mind is constantly running, like overworking. And it's the ego that is the impediment of that intellect. And that monkey mind is actually not divine thought at all. It's the incessant programming on loop. So it's like letting the TV play while you sleep. It's awful and it poisons the mind. But chopping wood in reverse brings the message of staying present. Can you do that? And are you dreaming with a big D? Or are you doing a whole lot of chit chatter about these are my dreams? And I love that that came up after the Mayan dream, because the chopping wood in reverse says, are you doing a whole lot of talking about what your dreams are, but you're doing it from the lazy boy? And it says, straight up, it says, are you an armchair astronaut? And I love that it said that, because are you dreaming of being in the cosmos, but you're like with your hands in the ruffled chip bag? So honestly, what steps are you taking to realize the dream that your heart desires? Are you taking steps towards that? Are you being present and really working to chop wood, to chisel away at the parts of you that don't service that dream, that are actually creating impediments for that dream? And so Mayan dream is saying, if you're confused, set the intention before you sleep to become clear. And chopping wood in reverse says, if you're dreaming and you're dreaming real big, don't do it from the armchair. Even if you take a little baby step, it's still a step. It doesn't have to be today, but the fact that you are showing the universe that you're serious about it, right? That you're not being willy-nilly about it, then things will it'll get the ball rolling. So Seraphonite showed up, and this is the tool of the day. So this is healing. And the healing card, well, the stones, and I'll show you the stones in a minute. I have a pair that's really nice, palm stones. Seraphonite talks about you healing that which is preventing your highest path and purpose. And so whether it is emotional healing, mental healing, physical healing, spiritual healing, Seraphonite can help. And it really shows you where that space is, and like energy work will direct itself right into that hurt, that ailment. Isn't it beautiful? Oh, I got the light on today because the room is kind of dark and you can really see. Isn't that pretty? To me, that kind of looks almost like a wing or something, the feathery look inside of it. It's pretty. That one's pretty too. And I like how it looks like an owl face, right? It looks like the hollow of owl eyes and an owl is my totem. So of course I see those things in stones. Anyway, beautiful stone. It's like a really deep forest green with silvery pearl feathering in it. It's really pretty. And so the culmination of today's spread, and this may be triggering because it even resonated with me. And so remember, this is the altar pull for their collective, which is everyone, which includes me. And I do pull for myself, and I put my cards back, and then I pull for the collective. This was not the card I got, but this did resonate with me. Isn't this deck beautiful too? Really beautiful. This is an Alana Fairchild. So Tantra of 639 Hertz. Tantra of 639 Hertz talks about meeting something that is so new it feels uncomfortable. And so how are you when you meet something that is so radically new and deep and stimulating? Do you tend to run because it's just not familiar enough that you mistrust it? And then you run back and you miss phenomenal experiences in your life. And so I like this as the culmination for today's spread, because the Mayan dream says, if you're confused, get clear by setting the intention before you sleep, which is really no work for you. It's not even like asking you to do any work. It's just saying, hey, you can call on the higher realms to help you when you're sleeping. That's pretty badass. Chopping the wood says stay present, but also if you're dreaming and dreaming big, you can't just do that from your couch. Do a lot of chit chatter, but then not make any moves to make the change even one little step, right? And Amanda, amazing. So Amanda says she gets curious, but she used to be a runner. Yes. So that's what most people do. They retreat or leave their bodies. So very highly psychic people, because we learn that as children, when things get uncomfortable and when it's just new enough, we're like, ooh, because it becomes stimulation overload, that we would leave our bodies. And that's actually a trauma response. And we think because of that, because even as sexually abused children, which I'm sure everyone, it's touched the lives of everyone on this live. If not, you know someone who has. That at first moment, it becomes very stimulating, and then it feels awkward, right? And then we just start to feel traumatized because we hold shame around things like that, and then we leave our bodies, right? And so now, even as adults, that can be a trauma response, leaving your body, just not being present. So can you stay in your body and allow yourself to be, like Amanda said, curious? And that's really teaching ourselves to feel radically safe in our own skin and unwaveringly present, and saying, okay, anything that happens is happening for me, not to me, and I don't need to escape this, because whatever is going to be on the other side is going to be far better than what I'm experiencing prior to this experience. So every experience refines us and elevates us. And so staying present, even if it feels new and uncomfortable, be curious. Be like the child discovering that. Children will run into a dark room in a minute. If they heard like a whistle, they would go, oh, what is that? Run into a dark room. No hesitation. No hesitation, go into it. And I love, you can follow Lorene Kren. I love his page. And he's an amazing, amazing divine masculine. But he does Q&As every once in a while in his stories. So watch his stories today. Really beautiful pearls of wisdom. But someone had asked about fear and being fearless. And he had said this, that he mentions being fearless all the time. But really, fearlessness is not absence of fear. It's more of, and I call it being fierce. So when you're being fierce, it's like, okay, even though I feel like in my gut a little bit of fear, it's okay. It's like being in free fall. It's exhilarating and scary as fuck, but you still go for it. And that's the kid running into the dark room. And there's like this ping in your gut, but it's literally impossible for you to be destroyed. You are not going to meet your demise. It's just it may be intensely stimulating, Let yourself experience that. Run into the dark room. Do it. And that's fierce. It's not fearless. It's not absent of fear. The most elevating experiences have an element of fear. And it's the fact that you can push past that and confront it. Thank you, Amanda. She says, confront the fear and surrender to that feel. Yes. Beautiful statement. Amanda Tovar. Confront the fear and surrender to the feel. Post that and put your name on it. So that's the spread for today. And I do have to like skedaddle because I got to go teach. And I'm always running in there like Mary Poppins, like I just got delivered by the wind. And if I get some water and leave right now, I would actually be a little early. So I will. Thank you for sharing this time with me. How do you guys feel about this time of day doing the spread? Do you like this? Yeah? Okay, good. That I'm taking all the hearts as like, yes, this is a good time of day for everybody, right? It's actually better for me because my morning routine is really extensive. And so when I do the spreads in the morning, it really kind of takes away from that. And I started doing it. And whenever something starts to feel like a task, that's when you need to question it. Like, am I doing this out of obligation? Or am I doing this because it's divinely driven? And in the beginning it was divinely driven, but it's starting to feel more like obligation, like, oh man, I got to do this before I leave the house today. And I love that Sadhguru says whenever you do anything out of obligation, it humiliates those who you do it for. And I don't want to humiliate you. I want to be fully available to you. And so this is a good time for me, and I hope it's a good time for y'all. So thank you for sharing this time and space with me, your most valuable commodity. Thank you for spending that currency on me. Thank you. And I am sorry for any misalignment that I myself have caused. Please forgive me. Thank you for this opportunity. I love you, I love you, I love you.